You're watching SEGADriven, and this is our Sonic Amateur Games Expo 2023 coverage. In this video we'll be taking a look at the final build of Sonic Encore, developed by lordgimpet. Now, we didn't get to check this one out last year, and our good friend Titans Creed did cover this one, but this is now the final build of Sonic Encore, which means we have another complete Sonic fan game on our hands, and it's a 3D one, which is super impressive at this point in time. Yeah, just incredible to see games of this caliber getting finished, and oh boy, there is a whole lot of game in here. I am very impressed with this on a technical level. So yeah, we've got 11 stages in total, which is pretty nuts, I've got to say, and the acts are enormous in size. A huge focus on sort of the modern style Sonic mechanics, but putting them in a sort of classic style momentum based Sonic game. Each of the stages is sort of like a reimagined version of a classic Sonic stage in 3D, which I really like as a concept. I think that's a really nice idea, but obviously expands them out dramatically. You know, these aren't just the 2D stage designs reimagined as a 3D game. This is a full reimagining. These are massive stages that you're playing through, and you've got the full gamut of modern Sonic abilities to use. You can drop dash, you can homing attack, you can spin dash, you can lightspeed dash. Yeah, it's really impressive, and the speeds you can get up to in this are absolutely insane, all making use of good momentum. So yeah, very impressive in that regard. I've got to say, yeah, technically just an incredible development. Like, it can't be faulted in that regard. Where I do find fault with it, unfortunately, is how it handles. I do find that the increased momentum in this game does mean that you overshoot a lot of things. I don't find that the homing attack works very well. I found that homing attacking rails in particular would often make Sonic get stuck to them at the end, which is very strange. I did find that homing attacking enemies at certain points wouldn't make me take damage, even though the enemy didn't have like a shield up or anything like that. It's very strange how that works sometimes. It just doesn't seem to function correctly. It also doesn't seem to homing attack the enemies like reliably, unfortunately. Like, despite the fact that you hear the lock-on happen, if the enemy isn't on screen, a lot of the time it doesn't really hit them. You just sort of overshoot them, which is a little bit annoying. You really do have to have them on, viewable to be able to attack them. But yeah, overshooting is a real problem. I found the bosses to be very frustrating. Yeah, again, issues with the homing attack. I seem to be taking damage even though the boss was open to attack, which is odd. Again, it doesn't really happen the way it's supposed to. Just a bit frustrating to play. And again, with the bosses, there's not a nice sort of structure to them. They don't have clear attack patterns. They don't have clear openings. So often I'm just basically homing attacking them and hoping for the best, and then damage boosting myself to another attack. I'm just kind of winging it. It doesn't feel like I'm really learning the mechanics of the bosses. It just feels like I'm hammering the homing attack and hoping for the best, and even when I take damage, I can use the invincibility frames to get in another hit. It's very slapdash. It doesn't feel like it was structured particularly well in that regard. It's a real shame. I feel like there's loads of potential here. The stages themselves, enormous, well designed, look incredible, great use of momentum, but I just can't get to grips with it. I find I get turned around an awful lot because of the sheer size of the stages. I got lost. I actually backtracked to the very start of the stage once because I completely got turned around, which is incredibly frustrating. You do find that their stages rely more and more on pitfalls as the game progresses, which is really frustrating because a big 3D open game like this encourages exploration, but if I explore too far, then I fall down a pit and die, and it's just frustrating. There's just lots and lots of design issues that really hold this back, unfortunately. I really want to love this because, God, the effort that's gone into it is insane. You can clearly see the map design is incredible, the visuals are amazing, it's really well optimized, it runs incredible on my old PC, which I was not expecting at all, and you know, I got all this capture, I think it looks pretty solid, despite the fact that I'm lowering, you know, I lowered the resolution and the graphical detail to make this work. I still think it looks really, really good. It controls really well, it's very responsive, it's just little things that keep bringing it back, the boss designs, the overshooting, the inconsistent homing attack, the fact that you're taking damage when you really shouldn't be a lot of the time. It just makes it a little bit too frustrating for me to really enjoy. I can't wholly recommend it, but if you do like a bit of modern Sonic, I think there's something in here that's well worth checking out, because the level of detail on here is just incredible. Honestly, the stages are so enormous and dense and full of stuff to do. Great use of momentum. It's really, really fun to just get about in this game. But annoyingly, there are just control things that really let it down. Again, what with it being a 3D Sonic game in this style, you are completely reliant on camera control yourself. A lot of the time it locks you behind Sonic and you can kind of just see what's ahead of you, and it's fine. But a lot of the time you'll turn around to attack an enemy that you overshot, and then you have to readjust the camera yourself, and it's all a bit fiddly and it doesn't really work the way I'd like it to. It's too involved for you to also have to deal with a full 3D camera. It needs to take control away from you so that you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, again, another little niggle that unfortunately brings this back for me. Yeah, maybe check it out if you're a modern Sonic fan in particular. I think there's a lot here to enjoy. But unfortunately, just a lot of those little issues for me just really brought this back. I didn't find myself enjoying it. I found it a little bit too frustrating as a result.